Welcome to the OLS vidcast with your host Eric Ritchie and Brett Corbett. Today is Henry's purported move to the MLS here, probably right after the World Cup, that there's already some sort of deal going on or some sort of agreement going on between Thierry Henry of Barcelona and the New York Red Bulls. And it looks as though, although we're not sure and we're going to speculate, that this deal really could happen. Of course, Brett, my thought is that it may not happen based on what New York is willing to pay for a player of that caliber.
Well, I think it's going to happen, strictly because it's been rumored for, about
3 years?
Since the designated player went into play, so about 2007.
Yeah.
It's been rumored that he was coming to New York. He's always talked about coming to MLS because, he likes a lot of the American culture, the quiet life, I guess you could say, because, to tell you the truth, coming here, even though he is going to be known by soccer fanatics, the vast majority of the public not going to know him from anybody else walking the streets.
Right, that's got to be relaxing for him.
So yeah, I think he's going to come here, and it's always been rumored in New York. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. New York will potentially be a very, very, very dangerous team if they can manage his signing.
Yeah, well, Henry's been talking about this forever in about 10 different interviews that yes, 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 and yes, he's looking to come to New York. He even said in an interview that there's something about New York in general. It's not just the peace and quiet, but there's something about the city itself that he loves. And, of course, he's been over before to play in Claudio Reyna's charities. And so, it's not a shocking move at all if it happens because, as you said, it's been talked about just about forever. I think the exciting news, as you just mentioned, is what is that going to do for the New York Red Bulls? That's going to make them a very scary, scary team.
Makes you wonder because when they picked up Salou, it really made them push to a 4-4-2 with Angel and Salou up top, but they pushed Kanji out to the wing, which I think with his speed and his long strides, that works in his favor. My question would be what formation are they really going to go to whenever Henry gets here, or is it just going to push Salou back to the bench? And if that is the case, that's going to be a rather deep bench as far as striker positions go. It is, but then when they brought in Salou this year, they didn't really expect that much from him. I mean, hell, he wasn't even signed when he was playing, the friendlies earlier this season. So, that's one thing. Salou was just kind of a happy find, if you will. The thing that you'll see, I'm sure, is that Henry will not play winger for the New York Red Bulls over his dead body. He's already complained 100 times in 100 different ways in 100 different interviews how he's not a winger. He doesn't want to play winger ever again, and that's one of his major complaints and gripes with Barcelona. So when he goes to New York, he's going to expect to play up top with Angel, and as you said, that'll put you got Kanji on one side, and who's on the left wing? You mentioned left wing is Kanji, right wing's Dane Richards.
Okay, so flip-flop those two. But really, what's kind of odd about that is that the center midfielders, Lynn Pierre and company, they're going to have to be really tight because when they play that lineup, as you mentioned before, it doesn't really look like Dane Richards or Kanji play a whole lot of defense sometimes. So what it ends up looking like is a 4-2-4, and that's can be a real devastating attack if all the wheels are turning and Henry is in fact going to play as well as we all think he can.
It really depends on who they got playing in the center. We know that they have Lynn Pierre in there, and he's been an absolute rock for the team.
He's been great.
My question is, who's the second person? I'm guessing if he's still fit, it's going to be Carl Robinson still.
Probably.
At which point, that's still a pretty dynamic duo to have in the center midfield holding it down.
Yeah, I mean, and with Limpier and Carl Robinson, you got all that experience overseas, and that does make for a great combination. I would guess if Henry does come, and he will probably, along with Angel, they're going to have to ask Kanji and Dane Richards to make more defensive contributions and not just constantly be thinking about counterattacking, which, so we may see a different style of play from New York if, in fact, that happens. I wonder how far up the wings you can really push Dane Richards and Kanji and get away with it, as we saw the other night when I think they lost 4-0. That can be, if you keep pushing too far and you don't ask those guys to play defense, it could get pretty ugly.
Well, the red card they received early in the match didn't help their situation, but yes, I agree. Although, now, with them already playing a 4-4-2, technically on paper, with Salou and Angel up there, when you bring in Henry and you remove Salou from the lineup, it's pretty much the same formation. They might actually still play the same route that they already are.
I think so.
But I wonder how long it'll take before teams figure them out. But I don't know even if the teams do figure them out, with a combination of Angel and Henry, it'd be a kind of a really, really dangerous striker combo.
Oh, I agree, and people were talking about on well, as they do on the blogs, and they're posting stuff like, oh well, even on Facebook, oh, I'm kind of worried, is Henry just going to be another David Beckham? Like, that's a bad thing. Sure, David's been injured. Sure, he wanted to go in the crowd and kick people's asses. Sure, he's been on loan. But overall, David Beckham's been still a plus for the league. But unlike David Beckham, Henry is not going to be looking to play or be loaned out, okay? Because his World Cups they're over. The only reason Beckham wanted to be loaned out is so he could play on the English national team. He had to prove his worth. Henry's done proving anything. If he comes to the United States, he's coming here to play full-time in the MLS and play and dedicate himself to playing for the Red Bulls. He's not coming here to show off anything and look to be loaned out on his breaks. No, Henry's coming here to end his career. Let's be clear about that.
I'm just hoping that he ends it on a positive note, like playing hard, 100%, not getting too sucked into the typical American culture.
Well, the thing about Henry is his 75%, I think, with his skill and his amazing ability, is going to be good enough to, and I'm not saying he's going to play at 75%, but let's just say he did, which I don't think Angel and a lot of the other players on the team are going to let him get away with. But let's just say he decides to play at 75%. He's still scoring a lot of goals. He's still making a lot of guys and defenders look pretty silly. And I think overall he's a big plus. He's going to bring in a lot more fans for the Red Bulls. This is going to be a big deal when he comes here. It's almost going to be Beckham-like in, I think, press coverage. I think we're going to see some stuff we haven't seen since Beckham when he comes.
With him coming in at halfway, what's your prediction on his how many goals he's going to score?
Let's say
half a season.
Yeah, half a season. So he's got, roughly 12 games left at the end of the season?
12, 15, depending where it falls.
And, I doubt they're going to throw him right in unless, he's completely healthy and he wants to do it right after the World Cup. But I'm going to say he scores 7-8 goals by the end of the season. Just
I was going to go ahead and give him 10.
Wow.
Assuming that the Red Bulls make the playoffs, which I'm sure they will.
Now, if they make the playoffs, I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they could win it all if Henry indeed comes over to finish the season.
Well, they were already contenders for the MLS Cup. I mean, they were already a dangerous team without him.
Exactly. So with them, they're really scary, as you mentioned. That's a frightening combo up front, and with the speed they have on the wings, look out, folks. This could be really scary, and we could honestly be talking about a dominant team. Outside of the only guys that at the end of the season I think that can compete with them, if it's on a day-to-day basis, would be the Galaxy.
It's going to be exciting to watch them play when they get into the international tournaments and stuff like that, if they can keep the same group and the same competitiveness there.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great. That would be absolutely fabulous to see. an MLS team, especially in the international tournaments, perform well. All right, folks, we'll be right back with segment number 2.